A must-win map for the Copenhagen Flames as they start off on that CT side here on Vertigo. Body spotted, but he just rips Nikadoz's head off. A beauty of an opener. And it leaves Roy desperately isolated, trying to escape, but Jocko is having none of it. Heat looking to keep things hot as they head to their second map. That form from Nuke is really following through. An early 5-on-3. On to go down as well. This is starting to already feel like it's going to be an impossible retake, Dean.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be easy. They don't have a kit in their possession. I'm not too sure if either of the players that went down had one either. We didn't really have a lot of time to prep. It was 0 to 100 with the action kicking off immediately. And well, Lucky in on the bomb site, good enough to even get one kill before he goes down. That's all he needed. Trade it out effectively, keep their numbers in their favor as that time ticks away and as Joko takes his chance to peek through and tap away one and just continue at this point running that clock down. They don't want to give too much away because Hooksy's actually getting a couple of kills for himself now. It could help him out with getting that force play in the following round, and well, a couple of kills, it will help him. It's better than nothing at all, but in the end, it is still, of course, he who take it over the finish line there. They take that opening pistol round, and they avoid the terrible starts that they've been getting off to constantly, and as we mentioned, this is really worst case scenario now for Copenhagen Flames. If they buy up here as well, if the buy doesn't go their way and they're forced onto an eco, it's going to likely be that 3-0 start for HEET, and then it's really going to come down to that first gun round having so much weight on it.
Not a good place to be. 4 Deegs and a Scout, we've seen this before. A little bit of utility at the very least to try and have some impact. Oh, he tagged up through the smoke. He, again, just playing these initial phases smart. They know that this is the force buy off the back of that Deagle spam, so they sit back in their angles. Oh, for any over-aggression. Body tapping away. Deals with Nikados despite the scaffolding. Happy to wallbang him through the tarpaul, and now that Deagle trying to drop his utility, trying to buy himself a little bit of breathing room out towards those sandbags. It's a rough spray for Body, so he will find the conversion. Frag to the good, and a frag that was desperately needed with just 4 pistols remaining on the server. Roy trying to be a little cheeky on this one. He's got half a one-way around that ramp smoke. He's lining up Afro, but Afro's lining him up as well. The frags finally start to go the way of HEET. The AK stabilizing things well with Yabby and Zyphon left. Smoked out of this A site as well. This is the situation where they have to start thinking maybe it's worth the save. Diffuse kit, couple bits of Kevlar, some utility to bring into the next round, which would otherwise just be full pistols, so they will back away from it. As you said, Dean, it's not a good look, though. Second round on the board for HEET. Economy in tatters for the CT side. It starts to go from bad to worse.
Yeah, they hopefully at least will have these 2 Deagles saved over. It'll give them a chance to get a few kills in the next round. 1 here, 2 to 3 kills in the next round as well. Do at least some damage so that going into that first gun round, you'll have the chance to hopefully break that economy down within the 1 or 2 round wins. Again, it is a very scary position for Copenhagen Flames to be in. We haven't really seen throughout the last 2 days he have the chance to carry any sort of momentum forward on a map. So the fact that they may finally get an opportunity to not be fighting back into a game from 5-0 down or 7-1 like it was yesterday, it's very promising for the French lads. And this round here in general should be pretty promising as well. Body and Lucky in particular are just going to go feed with those Mac 10s to get some economy going. Exercise hasn't even bothered to upgrade past the USB, so they are just fully focused on building that economy and keeping things as stable as possible as they can here in these early rounds.
Ooh, Body playing with fire, and he will get burnt. Yabby on the spam down. Able to get it done. Exercise on that USB, tapping away, finds one. It's the pistol round all over again, boys, and Jocko finally chimes in to help his man out. Yabby again will find the kill, but it's only the SMG and the pistol, right? It's nothing that HEET are going to be too concerned about. As you said, that round really a money-making exercise for them, so no harm, no foul. Body more than likely will go for the upgrade onto the rifle here. Lucky may well want to hang around on that Mac 10, though. Body, are you going to stick with that Deagle? This feels so risky. Afro's on a Deeg, so is Body. They completely misread the buy here. This is the first full buy of the Copenhagen Flames. AWP on Nikados, 4 rifles, and you've got 2 Deegs and a Mac 10 coming to the playing field. This is not a good look at all, and it could give Copenhagen Flames a big chance to recover their CT economy early.
It is a strange one. I mean, at least it would have being understandable for Afro to go towards a rifle. I guess they want to keep him for having the AK if they do lose this one out. But yeah, it's weird to take the bonus here by just not buying onto a couple of players. Either way, though, Exercise has already gotten them a very quick opening kill and has begun to wrap his way in behind on B. He will be dealt with by Zyphon, who actually doesn't even take any damage in the meantime, but he created a bit of space. He made some time, of course, for his teammates to start moving forward on towards B. The question is, can they do anything with it? Because they're struggling to get those entries. Eventually, the Deagle of Body comes in and gets one. But now they're left with Joko on low health with that AK, and the other two players not even having rifles.
If they had 2 AKs, you would maybe back them to get this done, but with just 2 Deags and 1 10 HP AK-47, it doesn't feel particularly viable at all. They look for the disconnect Heat, trying to just take the pressure off. See if maybe there'll be over-aggression from the CT side, but absolutely none given. Zyphon tucks himself behind 90. Makes himself as small as he possibly can, and with 25 seconds left on the clock, it's going to have to be the group commit from Heat. We'll be up towards this B site. Body's going to get dropped across that AK-47, give them a little extra firepower to work with, and Roy's going to make the wrong call on this rotate, but he's just been called back on a timing there. I think Zyphon must have heard something. Great headshot to deal with Body. That's bombed down. Afro will at least find one. He's got a rifle in his hands as well, but he can't quite find it. Out of bullets now. Zyphon on 1 HP, spamming down to find him. A quad kill from behind 90, and a desperately needed one for the Flames as well, because despite there being 2 Deagles on the board, there was a ton of damage found by Heat.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I was so close to even coming down to a 1v1 in the end. What, did Zyphon have 1 left? So it's honestly not a bad position. I don't know if it's how exactly I would have approached it, but it could work out better for them now if they do, of course, come back and just get the punish on the Copenhagen Flames, who have no economy left in the bank. So they might shut us up real quick if they can win this one out. If it goes south, though, that's when they're in a bit of trouble, and they themselves, although they have some economy left over, won't be in a great position. It would be instead Copenhagen Flames having a decent chance to build up some rounds. So this really is a pivotal round right now. I can turn the tide of this game in either direction. Looks like mid-control is going to be the goal, at least for a couple of these players. Where it sets them up to head towards, as of yet, is kind of unknown. They are, I believe, getting some control around the ramp there as well. So options will be open, and Ikodos has actually initially taken, I believe, some damage before landing the follow-up shot on the Afro. And Rye, in the meantime, as well, as taking out Body. It's just not working out for Heat at all. All across the map, they are being destroyed, as this boost for Joko is being left waiting to, at the end, find absolutely nothing.
Beautifully executed by the CT side. They were leaving mid-open, and I was worried for a second it was going to backfire, but no need to be concerned. Crispy headshots. The Flames get their second on the board, and this is where you start to question that bonus round theme, because if they got a little extra damage, the economy wouldn't be where it is now. Copenhagen Flames with a buy in the bank, decent enough situation, and you can see Heat really having to think about what they want to do in this one. It's only going to be the half buy. Deagle's out near enough across the board. Body and Afro without even the economy to do that, so a handful of pistols to work with. In need of some damage as well. A few frags to keep the CT economy honest at the very least feels essential. Leading a little bit of that utility early is Lucky, making just a smidge of noise as he takes the HE to the face. Gonna try and get the boost going as well, see if maybe they can work that pick, and that's exactly how it lands. Zyphon not expecting it. Lucky with 1 bullet from the 50 caliber straight to the skull. Finds that early man advantage, but immediately ripped back. Nikodos aggressive down that A ramp, again taking away map control from this T side. Manages to find the refrag, and it starts to funnel them in towards the B site again. Yabi once more tucked behind 90. No Molotov, of course, to try and flush him out of this angle. So he's going to have an absolute field day. Supporting flashes potentially available as well, although Hooksy's used all of his. So as they start to queue up on this ramp, it's going to be the Deagle spam. Up close and personal, up against Hooksy. Molotov to isolate the 1v1s. Yabi takes an early tag, so he will be traded fast. But that Molotov has bought them a lot of time for the rotations. You can see Roy absolutely hightailing it into mid to make sure Hooksy's only got to worry about this ramp. 3 targets to hit, though, and he's being charged down. Exercise has managed to transfer that bomb to site, and Lucky, with the recovered AK, has found 1 more. Not like this, boys. Spotted at the generators. Roy has to find the kill and does. He's got Lucky. Afro is now pinned, but Exercise on the recovered rifle finds 1, and it's the Glock to finish it. How do Heat get away with that? 3 Deagles, 2 Glocks, a 4th round on the board.
Jesus. And I'm not talking about Lucky, but what a round. That initial entry from the Deagle is really what does it. It looked like he was going to get a little bit more, but I think the way him and Afro were peeking, with Afro peeking up close on the generators, Lucky just kind of couldn't shoot. They kept the timing was like inopportune every time he went to peek, and he had to avoid shooting his teammate as well. But obviously they pulled it off in the end, and now it's Copenhagen Flames who are on the brink of destruction. If they lose this round, their economy is gone. They'll be left on an eco, and HEET will be running away with a massive T lead. After it looked like just a moment ago, Copenhagen Flames were going to tie us up and maybe even have a chance of getting a lead of their own going. So this is a rough position. Bit of spam damage, I believe, did land there down ramp, but not really too substantial. And for now, it's just a slower approach from HEET, waiting out on the default, expecting maybe a bit of aggression around ramp, considering they have 3 players waiting here. And that would be the right idea. You can see there's a lot of peaks coming forward, a good bit of damage as well over the smoke onto Nikodos. And he wasn't able to return all that much onto Joko.
Starting to look a little bit rough around the edges. Still an even 5-on-5, however. Still that A-ramp contest rages on. Yet more utility dropped, more one-ways found, more spam damage connects, body down to half. HEET determined to commit to this. All 5 players behind the ramp play, but with only 40 seconds left, it's going to be a very late charge on up. And not a particularly subtle one at that. All 5 players looking to pop. Hootsie flashed into the angle, finds the first. A missed shot from the AWP is punished. And with that man advantage to work with, you can see Afro desperate to get into the angle, but he doesn't expect the second player up close and personal. 20 seconds, and that bomb is still so far down the back of the ramp. Zyphon and Hootsie combine for one more apiece. An exercise, well, he gets what he can. He finds a couple of kills on the extremities. But HEET, they just burnt so much time trying to contest that ramp early. It left them with nowhere to go in the late round.
Yeah, and it had the 3 players committed to it, so I mean, they could have, in theory, have still maybe pressured around the stairs and on towards mid at least with 2 of the players, perhaps just being cautious down at their flank. But basically, as you said, they wasted so much time trying to get that control that they then had no control once they had to start moving forward. So see whether that's something that keeps on biting them with this slightly slower playstyle that they're giving us so far. They are going to keep the bias up. There's a few rifles in play. There's some good nades again coming in towards ramp, and this time they're definitely moving a lot quicker, but it's costing them quite a lot of health to do so, unfortunately. Into the crossfire now, as Nikodos only actually gets the 1. Roy will swing back in and even drops the bomb then, and he does have support already in position from Hootsie here as well. It's going to be quite tough actually for them to hang on to that bomb, though. They may want to back away, especially now as they extend that advantage even further.
Roy just having an absolute field day. The lack of utility for this T side, giving them no means to flush him out or blind him. Lucky and Body, 2 of the veterans of this lineup now to try and salvage the situation, but they're being flanked out. Yabi and Zyphon already starting to make their presence known in the back lines. This is going to be an impossible situation. Lucky spotted, tagged a little further, but it's all a ploy. They're just buying time, and they're finding the kills regardless. Hootsie in with 1. Roy swings for the second. And this is more like it from the Flames. Battling on that A-ramp, finding consistent success. The trades are solid. And once more, without that bomb plant, they've managed to break the economy of HEET.
Yeah, into a position this time where I don't even think they can get those Deagles to back up the weaker ones. So I'm not expecting an upset this time around, as we should have Copenhagen Flames getting themselves into the lead, which is a pretty decent position to be in, all things considered, with how the map had actually kicked off. You've got to presume as well that this pause is from HEET. Do we have the information for certain by any chance, Wolfie?
We'll go have a look. He's put me under time pressure.
I think that's a tactical. It's all good.
It was HEET. It was HEET. We got it.
It's how the games have been going for us. I thought there was maybe a 90% chance it was a technical, so I just wanted to be sure.
Keeping us on our toes as always, but for HEET, they take the tactical. Can use this round as a impromptu tack as well. There's really nothing they can hope for in it. 1 flashbang. Otherwise, fully default Glocks to see if maybe they can steal a kill somewhere. That would be great. In all reality, they're already thinking about the round after this one. Copenhagen Flames 5-4 up. How do you start getting those rifles working? Because initially they were having success on B. Couple of failures there. They tried the A ramp. That simply has not worked since the pistol. They need to find out what plan C is, and HEET need to do it somewhat rapidly. So these pistols will start to queue up. Bottom of the A ramp, hoping maybe for some CT aggression to wander into the crosshair instead. 5-man swing, pop flash, Molotov, HE just to chip away at these bodies, and it's all too easy. 2 frags on the trot for Roy. There's more pistols swinging. Afro will find one, and well, he will find a second, so a little more expensive than I think it was reasonably expected to be, and that's about all you can ask for if you're HEET, because it gets them a couple kills, it gets them that kill bonus on the Glocks as well, and it gives them just a little more cash to work with into this buy.
Yeah, not bad at all. I was having a quick look there, and it is worth noting that both of these teams are ever so slightly T-sided, not by a massive margin at all, though, but it does mean Copenhagen Flames are doing a pretty good job having pulled it back to this point already here on their CT side, and if they can go up towards 9 or so rounds, then I think they'll be set up really well with the how it's been going over these past few. Definitely could be on track to do so. Again, though, with this default, it looks like most of the focus is going to be around that ramp, at least in the initial moments. They have actually now sent, I believe, the bomb back up through the ladder alongside another player to see if they can get this mid control. And while they have moved a little bit around this area before, it was never with this much presence, so I don't think Zyphon will expect it, but he lines them up and mows them down. Does just about then get caught with a smoke in his hand, but he doesn't get taken out because Hooksy was there to cover. They had taken the elevated angles up and above, on top of and below each other, rather. Leaving only Lucky standing now. Sure, he gets that 1 kill onto B, but they're just going to drop a smoke on the scaffolding and be happy to hang on to this bomb in on mid. It's all pressure on Lucky, of course, and even if he wants to save the rifle, there's still a ton of time on that clock.
Lovely stuff from the Copenhagen Flames. They've left mid open a few times, so he thought they could maybe abuse it. Instead, a tower of death awaits them. Lucky would do well at this point to save that AK-47 into the next. The economy of HEET not in a good place whatsoever. So Lucky will just try and creep his way back into the depths of spawn. Both teams happy to let sleeping dogs lie at the moment. Not too much of a hunt from the Flames because their economy's not there either just yet. So a very tame end to a very intense round as Lucky may well walk into the crosshair. He was thinking about lurking a little further through, and Nikodos is waiting, but won't give him the pleasure of finding the kill. Instead, a 6th round on the board for the Flames. That CT side really starting to click now. It doesn't seem like HEET, well, that was plan C going out mid, and that still didn't work. So how deep does the strat book go?
I mean, that is the question. If the map always goes so well, is that because you have such a deep playbook, or does everything just seem to click for some reason and you haven't perhaps been tested to your limits? I don't know. I'm just spitballing at this point, but they're just not playing what we how we would have expected, rather, considering what this map looks like for them in general. Again, ever so slightly T-sided as well. I think HEET are slightly more T-sided on the map than Copenhagen Flames are as well, even. So again, this is boding well right now for the Danes. Great recovery, a great lead now starting to be built up around here where HEET probably aren't going to have anything to say about it. There's one rifle, sure, and it is in the hands of Lucky, who was the savior before, to kick them back into one of the rounds where they had nothing really to work with as well. But over these past few rounds, it looks like it's just been unlocked from Copenhagen Flames. Are they going to boost the Deagle up? This is interesting.
Yeah, give it a go. Seen it work once before.
I think maybe the AK had want to, though.
Smoke goes out. AK goes up. Zyphon playing around the corners of it. Yet to be spotted. Yab he is, but it's a miss spray from Lucky. Can't quite capitalize and will have to back away now as a result. That one-way smoke they hoped would give them a little more vision than it did. With 45 seconds left, no picks found. A couple of players tagged down low. Nikodos actually starting to chime in on the A ramp. Goes from bad to worse, and once again, HEET muted as they start to make their way back towards this A ramp. The AK of Lucky gets nothing. Exercise, though, will find 2 quick headshots. The Deagles once again looking to save the Frenchman. AWP recovered. Hooksy has managed to get himself into a nasty little position, though. 20 seconds left. Molotov attempting to deny this bomb plant. Exercise will look to get it down regardless. That's the rifle, though, and Hooksy's nade deals with him. 10 seconds. Jocko knows he has to try and plant this one. Has to try and make it work. Body can't cover him, however. And they will bail themselves out once again, the Flames. A little bit of French Deagle magic. Not quite enough to steal the round away as the CT side recover for a 7th.
Yeah, I mean, again, they do win out the round, but that one was a little bit too close for my liking, considering what he had. It almost seems like he are finding a bit more success on these weaker buys where the pressure's not on as much. They're willing to take a few more risks, and they're not so much a sticking to the default. Although, in fairness, the last good round, they tried to take mid control, and that just didn't go well for them, so that wasn't really the issue then. But we'll see now. The adjustments need to be made at this stage, really, if Heat want to start turning this half around into a decent position. Because, again, they look for ramp control in between the tempos, I suppose. This time not running right into the nades and taking tons of damage. But not sitting back too passively either. But they are still going to find a clash. It's a late push back in from Copenhagen Flames. It's Nikodos who wanted the peak, but that flash was absolutely perfect to force him back off the angle. But Roy does at least still get one before he falls. So the numbers for now at least remain equal, despite the control going the way towards the T side on ramp. And kills just start all coming back to Copenhagen Flames. Okay, I think it was in towards mid, the initial pick that came through, and with that, they just locked down the ramp.
Just a flood of them, in all honesty. Afro spotted out. 4 players to deal with, 1 on a fast flank. Nice shot at very least onto Nikodos, but surely not going to expect Zyphon up on the high ground. Clean headshot to guarantee the lead at the half for the Copenhagen Flames. And again, it's such an odd thing to say, but it feels like Heat are just starting slow. They've just gone missing once more. Body, the hero of Nuke, nowhere to be found on Vertigo, and this is going from bad to worse. The money just about there to scrape something together. It'll be the half buyer's exercise, gets the AK. Eagles, Tech 9s, and Mac 10s flank him. But what do you do? Nothing's been working. They're going to try and up the pace, up the ramp early. The utility raining in, chips away at Afro and Jocko. The wallbang continues to find purchase. While Nikodos is brought down low, the supporting caster here, the frags continuing to be found. What little promise there was in this round is extinguished in an instant. Exercise is on a very long flank through mid. Maybe he can get something, but he's lost absolutely all of his teammates in the process. And Nikodos is holding for exactly this. There is potentially a timing on the board here. As he starts to make his way out. Here's the footsteps to his right. The one tap misses initially. And that, if you wanted a summary clip for how Heat's first half has gone, take that missed shot and put it on your wall.
Just like a screenshot.
Yeah, just screenshot his crosshair not on his head as he taps. That's all you need.
Oh, this is so rough. I mean, we've been shut up real quick, right? Because we said the win condition, if Heat were to get them initial rounds, they would just run away with the lead and get victory. But no, hasn't happened. It seems like they need to have at least one stint of rounds where they slow down for a while. It's like a mental piss stop. Unfortunately, it's happened a little bit later on into this now as the T side is just slipping away from them. The molly down was spotted in the back corner here, but he's got a bit of assistance. And, well, Yabi committing to the fight actually won't be able to land the kill at all. He does some decent damage, I believe. That was on towards Lucky. Indeed, it was. So, in terms of health, it is still a slightly favorable position for Copenhagen Flames, so I don't think they're going to be too upset. But as you can see, they are considering some counter-aggression in a couple of places to see what sort of info they can find. They're actually going to risk a stack on B.
They might get away with this. I thought the play was to call that rotation and then barrel it into the A site. Heat instead slow it right down, and you can see that's going to allow for the rotations to come back. That's going to allow for these CT players to make their way back around towards this A site right as the hit looks to come in. Already Hooksy in support, a third. Not far away at all. Not that Roy needs them. 2 sprayed down through the smoke, and again, it's a round that falls desperately by the wayside as Zyphon deals with exercise and Body. Well, he's had a dire first half here. This T-side really hasn't been for him. We'll find one nice transfer for the second, but it's an isolated moment of brilliance in amongst a sea of failures. 10-4, double digits on the board for the Copenhagen Flames, looking for an incredibly solid first half here on Vertigo. The map picker Heat, and they've just gone missing.
This is mad. I mean, we said there was some promise because of the fact that Copenhagen Flames have won their last 2 games on the map 16-6, but it wasn't against teams who are as competent here as he should be. But evidently, it's not really what we're being shown at the moment. It's not what they're showcasing. This 5th round is desperately needed by Heat if they want any chance of pulling this back in the second half. And unfortunately, already it's kicked off to a poor start. Roy gets the opening kill. Yabi, he could be in a bit of trouble when the smoke begins to fade, to be fair. with a second player nearby, and well, it's not even needed. Lucky just straight up wins out that duel. Again, though, despite it being an early 1-for-1 for both sides, it is a player on Heat that takes damage in order to get that trade back to equal things up. Meaning Copenhagen Flames are always in a slightly favorable position to hold onto these bomb sites. Deep smoke.
Lifen did a perfectly positioned angle here just to cut out the offensive before it even begins. Lucky on first HP will be his first victim if he chooses to push that smoke. Backs out instead, though, and they have got a trapped Nikados on the ramp, but the Deagle finds it. I think that was the play. If Afro finds that kill, maybe they double back into the A site. Instead, again, it's Heat. Looking like they need to stop and ask for directions here on Vertigo. Hooksy's caught the lurking Jocko for free. And Exercise and Lucky left looking for scraps. Wandering out mid. Nice shot from Exercise, at the very least dealing with Roy, but it's still a 2-on-3. Nikados still posted in towards this A site. If they can deal with the AWP, then maybe a plant becomes available, but he's playing close. Looking to completely deny the plant spot. Missed shot. That will be the plant down. It's an awkward one for Exercise. He's planted 4 body, who's tucked in close, and Zyphon, not expecting it, will just about go down. They recover it to 10-5. We'll have to see if that's enough after the break. A half that Heat will desperately want to forget, and it has to start with this pistol. 10-5 down as they head to the CT side of Vertigo, a side where traditionally they struggle, and well, those struggles are immediate. Lucky, with Julies in hands, can find absolutely nothing. Roy rips his head clean off, and the perfect start for the Flames.
Yeah, there's dual Berettas there that are going to be tempting body that he may want to recover in a while, but for now he needs to keep that element of surprise, but it still doesn't work out. Rai continues holding for further aggression and manages to shut it down on top of Yabi now finding himself a kill elsewhere, I believe, cancelling some B aggression now, so it's everywhere really at this point that's opened up. Joko, sure, he pulls back 1 kill, but they've already lost control of that B bomb site. The bomb's on its way in, and there's an aggressive hold from Yabi that should be able to cut off that rotation and stop anything from being done about the bomb plant. So it's going to be an incredibly difficult 2-on-4 retake. A positive is they do have the kit in play for Joko. He's got those dual Berettas back in play as well. But it's, again, going to be incredibly difficult unless they get instant kills here.
4 players with no armor as well. Jocko and Afro both without it. 2 quick kills for the Julies, though. Very nearly make it work. Hooksy able to bail it out at the last possible man. For a split second, Jocko would have believed that was viable, despite both of those CT players not having Kevlar. A lot of damage done. The problem is damage just wasn't enough. Roy with those 2 opening picks down scaffold. It was just too much to really deal with. Heat going to have to concede the full eco here. It will be a 12-5 lead for the Flames before the rifles start coming out for the Frenchmen. And on their map pick, that really does start to feel unacceptable. Charging out mid. They're going to try and take some kind of control away from the T side, but the response is just to double on back. Skirt your way up the ramp. Let Yabi, with the extra bullets of the Galil, start to thin the numbers away. 3 on the spray down, make it a 4. And Jocko, well, he's been a little cheeky, but it's not going to get him anything at all. 12-5, nice and smoothly handled, even upgrading one of those MAC-10s to a rifle.
Yeah, managing to recover it off the player who had gone down. So in the end, it is only the MAC-10 that they actually lose out on. So I don't think Copenhagen Flames are going to be too upset with that one. But coming into this first gun round now, this is honestly the last chance for Heat to truly get themselves back into this game. If this goes south, it's 14 most likely before they see rifles in their hands again, and that just can't be allowed to happen. I wouldn't see them having it in them to make that comeback happen at this stage. as already it's an opening kill. Yabi's gotten himself one. They've just charged out mid. They're going to be splitting in towards the A-bomb site, I believe, with a player even moving in behind the spawn at the moment, who will actually be dealt with pretty quickly. Indeed, it's Afro and Body to go ahead and take a kill each, given a bit of a fight, given some resistance at least on towards this A-bomb site. And there is still one standing down on the ramp who I was going to say could be a big player if he was able to stay alive and give them that position for the retake. But unfortunately, he can't hold on. And it was even the bomb carrier that he was up against.
Planted well for the two players tucked into heaven and hell. Lucky an exercise to try and stick the landing on an incredibly complex retake. Hooksy catches a timing. Zyphon's dealt with the teammate. It's all too simple. All too easy for the Flames. Vertigo looking more and more like the wrong call for HEET. Just 3 rounds away now, the T-side, from forcing that deciding map of Ancient. And, well, it'll be 2 in short shrift because there's no opposition from HEET here. They're going to half-buy down onto the Deagles. Hope to maybe pull a little bit of something out. It's just not looking good for the Frenchmen. Really haven't found their form at all here on map 2. Initial contest out towards the ramp nets them nothing but a frag against. Roy able to find the headshot onto Body. Afro trying to be a little cheeky around that smoke, but the Molotov will force him back as well. And once again, HEET find themselves a man down early on with less map control than they started with.
Yeah, there's just no real positives at the moment, unfortunately. Having a look at their Ancient as well, which is where they're probably going to have to get this done at this stage. It hasn't really been one that they've played all too often. I don't think they've played it since being picked up by HEET. The last time they played it, they were still double pony. So it's been a while, and it is somewhat up and down for them as well. And with how almost certain we were that they were going to get it done here on Vertigo, you start to think Copenhagen Flames might even have this in the bag. Oh, a little bit of a hug there with Afro. He actually ends up getting the kill then when he comes out onto Hoopsy as well. So that's a little bit awkward. Lets his teammate go down somewhat, but it's not really going to impact them in the long run. I don't believe their economy's fine, and if they keep up the pace that they currently have, we're going to be done with this map pretty soon anyway.
Certainly feels that way, doesn't it? 14-5. HEET in need of a serious comeback energy if they are to take it on their own map pick. Apparently nobody in the ESL Challenger League can win their own map pick, but at least some resistance here would be good for the Frenchmen. A confidence builder headed into that final deciding map of Ancient. Nikodos, his frag at least traded. He gets one through the smoke. Jocko says, fine, I'll do the same. Spamming down, deals with Hooksy to make it an even 4-on-4. But again, just starts to feel like it favors that T-side. Pot flash for Nikodos to retake the early A ramp control. The utility bled away from that CT side initially. With 1:15 left on the clock, Copenhagen Flames, they're taking this early round so much faster than HEET did on their T-side, and it gives them options to rotate in the mid-round.
Well, he did somewhat flush Lucky out. Maybe a peek off the back of it, though, and at the moment, this is really just serving as a bit of a distraction, I believe, to try and maybe pull some players away. There is also one man, I believe, at the bottom of the stairs there on B that'll probably look to try and help sell a bit of a fake off the back of this. As we can see, the bomb still towards the bottom of ramp, and well, it really comes down to what Zyphon can do. The timing probably not going to work in his favor. He actually does spin back around and spot out Lucky, but well, it doesn't matter. Lucky swings in, and the M4 manages to come out on top in this case. And Nate, I think he'll do at least a bit of damage, and indeed actually brings Exercise down to 45. But they're not going to be moving into B, so will it matter is the question. Unless they can get these entries onto the bomb site, and they're going to struggle either way. Only 20 seconds remaining. It's going to be Ryu who tries to lead the way here, I believe. Nikodos will flash over for him. There is smoke still in play, but they just need to get these down incredibly quickly because they no longer have the time really to get this done, and especially with the bomb going down, the only hope for Nikodos really would be a save, and that's not even going to be allowed. He tries to escape to the ramp, and he likely would have just ran into Afro either way. It's finally around on the CT side here for HEET. They get a 6th on the board, but they have to be flawless for the remainder of the CT side if they want to make the comeback happen. At most, they could lose 1 round, and then they'd be fighting for an overtime.
It's not a good look. Isolated success. They need so much more where that came from. And even that CT round felt scrappy at times, felt loose around the edges, kills through smokes, giving them the initial refrag. Still the rifles up for the T side, although if this one goes south, Copenhagen Flames likely will be staring down the barrel of an eco. 3 players queued up initially, bottom of those B stairs. They're try for something a little cheeky. Exercise is watching for the boost. Instead, they're actually going to boost behind Wood here. Get Yabby up into that angle without being spotted. And Exercise always thinking about clearing this. He's watching for exactly this boost, but he turns, looks instead for Yabby. It will be a 1-for-1, and Lucky actually deals with Nikodos as well. So a well worthwhile trade for that CT side to start things off. The early man advantage converted into 2 now as Afro connects onto Roy, and this is more like it. Zyphon and Hooksy stuck on the ramp. Zyphon very much committed to the cause here, and Hooksy's been spotted out as well. They should know exactly where to look. Zyphon at least manages to deal with one, but Jocko is quickly there for the trade, and, well, they know exactly where to look for Hooksy. The early nade chips him down to half HP. He's trying to play this headshot angle, trying to see if maybe there's some kind of overextension from HEET, but Body is having none of it. Pins him to the wall as HEET have their 7th and finally break the economy of the Flames.
It's a start. Again, though, they can't really afford to make any mistakes on the CT side now. And while their CT side isn't normally bad, we did say their T side tends to be the slightly better of the two. And we've seen how that went, of course. Did not go as the stats would have told you. And even with these pistols in play right now, I won't lie, I am still a bit worried that there's definitely a chance for some damage to be done with how the Copenhagen Flames players have been playing. If they give themselves a bit more freedom here, especially if they had actually taken a few peeks together, there definitely could have been a chance for them to overwhelm a couple of positions, but it seemed like they were kind of just spread out on the default, to be honest. So hasn't started off too well. Initial pick, of course, found. Roy goes down. And yeah, there shouldn't really be too much trouble from this point forward. Hooksy's the only one with a deagle in play.
Solid chip damage as well onto Yabby, Hooksy, even Zyphon tagged up to within that one-shot headshot range.
What? Did he die
Exercise,
from the run? Oh, no.
Has he fallen?
What? No, I'm confused.
His X is off the map. Either way, he's dead. So, great. Copenhagen Flames found a kill with 1 deagle and 3 Glocks. No, they won't mind that at all. And, well, they'll see if maybe they can get a little bit more. Hooksy's deagle spam still has potential to do damage. Jocko will start to think that maybe there is going to be a snake in the grass in towards mid, but there's going to be a timing available. Lucky really has to hold down this B ramp solo. Finds his first. There's Jocko dealing with that late mid lurk exactly as required. Lucky coming in for one more. Admittedly, another kill comes in, though. Nikodos at least able to get something on that deagle. I think Exercise did fall off the map because he's still here. He literally just must have whiffed it.
Must have been trying to position himself behind the pillar, you know, like that angle, and yeah, as you said, somehow fell off. I don't understand exactly how it would have happened, but either way, it doesn't bite them too much. It would have been ideal if they didn't lose another player on top of it, I won't lie, since they haven't really built up much money now off the back of it, and are still in a position where the round loss could leave them with very little to fight for in overtime, so this is a bit risky, especially as they go aggressive. Afro, that was a mad play. He didn't get away with it, but at least it did set up the trade frag then from Body, who sadly himself hasn't even managed to survive. So the advantage does eventually go the way of Copenhagen Flames as things look to calm down a small bit for now.
Damage onto a couple of players, but really not enough at this point for HEET. Man down. Copenhagen Flames do what they do best. Cut all noise. Zero information for the CT side to work with, hoping that HEET in a spur of the moment play walk right into these waiting crosshairs. They do have the fortune of having Lucky aggressive down the B ramp, so they know it's not going to be a ramp play. Leaves them with plenty of map control still to worry about in A and mid. And Yabby is starting to take that map control as well. Just creeping his way out middle as the bomb makes its way up the ramp. 45 seconds left. He will be the backstab to this play. And with Lucky aggressive down that B ramp, it's going to be a 2-man hold. It's going to be on Exercise and Jocko to get absolutely all of it done. Lucky is starting his rotation, but he's still desperately far away. And Yabby, well, if he rotates loudly, we'll be picking him off at the edges. Jocko, meanwhile, found inside the site. Zyphon with the critical finale. And Lucky is just nowhere. There's nothing he can do. He's stuck. Desperate, deep inside a CT spawn with his AWP being given absolutely nothing. It's a 15th round for the Flames. 7 opportunities to shut it down and take us to Ancient. We said HEET needed to be flawless. They went aggressive, and it backfired in a major way.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mad play, to be honest. I really wasn't expecting it. Afro ran through like 2 smokes, I believe, down the scaffold, and And then it left Body in a really awkward position where obviously spamming back through the smoke, sure he got the trade, but it left him exposed as well. His position known to just the exact same thing then happened to him, of course, in return. So it seems a bit crazy. This is what we said. There wasn't room for any sort of mistakes, any sort of errors, and this is just going to ruin them. They at least save an op, I suppose, so Lucky can get some drops over. Body can buy for himself, but everyone else, as you can see, is lacking. So it's a rough position to be in with 7 rounds still needed just to get it into an overtime. It's looking like we're going to have Ancient coming up as the decider, and there'll be no complaints from me. Again, though, as I said, double pony. He haven't actually played it with this name yet. The last time they played it was when they were double pony. That's why the name was on my lips there, of course. And on the other hand, Copenhagen Flames, they just don't play it all that often at all. So it's going to be a bit of a wild one, I'd imagine.
Just the way we like it, but we got to get there first. Exercise playing around the edges of this aggressive smoke. A couple of players behind it, including Yabi, who's tagged down to 61. They're expecting aggression, though, the T side. Yabi and Zyphon. Ooh, Exercise. Did you see that backpack?
I don't think so.
I don't think you did, mate. If he swings, there's 2 players. He gets both of them. He's ready for it. I think he may well have done. Played the timing to perfection. Body's nade grabs a 3rd and out of nothing. Heat have surely got a 9th round. Jocko through the smoke, wallbangs Nikados to nothing, and Hooksy, well, have a look for a consolation frag, my son, but there is nothing to be found. 9th round on the board, the gap at 6. Buy still potentially available for the Copenhagen Flames, of course, with 6 map points on the board. No need to rush the issue, but at the very least, Heat are building that confidence, right? They're starting to feel their way back into this series, and that's exactly what they need headed potentially to Ancient.
Yeah, at the very least, because as we kind of seen throughout most of that first half, they were just missing from this game. None of the individuals, especially Body, who's been so important for them, have been fragging. As Afro's not in the ideal position, I won't lie here, with him up, especially as the molly comes in. A few pistols as well up close and personal, and that Mach 10 on the ramp there as well. They could be incredibly dangerous if he gets caught in this position for too long. I think if he wanted, he could probably back away at this point. Not completely aware of it instead. They've just called in for a ton of assistance. They've got a heavy stack on towards this A-bomb site. And as you can see, it's been moved back at this point. On towards B, where there is 1 player. But he's not got too much in terms of nades.
He's got nothing to really stall this. They can charge through that smoke. They won't be afraid to on this kind of a buy either. Pot flash and he's full blind. Nothing he can do. B-bomb site overwhelmed. Afro looking a hole for the cross. Exercise does very well on his own, though. That spray down connecting for 2 is everything. Lucky then there to find the trade as he finally goes down. Yabi has been left on the A flank. But with the bomb down on the wrong side of the generators, it's really impossible to do anything at all. Afro feeling crispy once more with the AWP. Finds a nice clean headshot. And this force spy is put to bed. Yabi, well, he'll look maybe to hold on to that AK-47 for the next. And Heat will have their double digits. The gap at 5. Don't want to jinx it with the cursor casting, but it's not a done series just yet. Heat, admittedly less comfortable and confident on their CT side, but they're managing to string it together so far.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, though, when we say that CT is their less competent side, you do have to remember that they did have a ridiculous win rate on this map up until this point and could still keep it if they're able to, of course, make this comeback fully happen. But when, again, we expected a lot more on their T side, we had, I guess, no reason to expect them to take it up so many notches here on their CT, but that's exactly what they're doing right now. And again, 5 to go, sure, it still seems like a decent amount, but take it 1 round at a time, and at the very least, they're getting themselves back into the game mentally at this point. One thing we never mentioned yesterday was the fact that they were playing a ton of CS. They obviously played the quick game we covered against Akimbo, but they had also played Sinners beforehand. So they've been non-stop on the grind as Yabi takes a bit of a wild swing on mid. That's the 1 rifle that they had. That is not a worthwhile trade.
Wanted to try and find some early impact. Instead, traded cleanly. A-bomb site's been left vulnerable, though. Afro the only man here, and he's out in no man's land at the minute. Doesn't seem to expect that maybe Roy has got as close as he had. Oh, Afro, mate, you've got to be desperately careful here. Nikados will put him down. There's the rifle recovered. The man advantage as well. Bomb to be planted swiftly. Missed HE onto Zyphon. Surely not like this, Heat. They whiff their lines for a split second. Body looking to stabilize. Finds the first. Even 3-on-3, 2 rifles recovered for the T side as well to play this after plant. An absolute plethora of utility to get them onto the site. Smoke to isolate the bomb. Lucky taps it, but Roy finds an early headshot. Body will only trade for 1, and Lucky tagged down low. He's trying to find the Deagle kill, and he will connect, but it's 1v1 up against Nikodos, and that smoke is about to fade. The Deagle misses, but he knows the clock is in his favor. Lucky has to stick it. He's got no choice, and Nikodos has done it. We will need Ancient, and we'll be back with some analysis in just a minute.